Hey, production teams, welcome to the first edition of Fredericksburg Production News. You guys have all seen Lifepoint News, and I want to do something similar to that, just keeping you guys informed about what's happening here at Fredericksburg in regards to production. So these will be generally probably 3 to 7 minutes. This one may be a little bit longer because I've got quite a bit of detail to go through. So just hang with me, and really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this before Sunday, so you come into a Sunday prepared and ready to go. All right, so let's get started so we can be on time. First off, many of you guys might have already heard this. Maybe your team leader told you, or you've heard about it some other way. The 5 p.m. is now moving to the 1 p.m. We're no longer going to have the 5 p.m. service at Fredericksburg. We're going to have a 1 p.m. service instead. This is going to be a couple of different things, and I'll jump into that in a second, but let's just talk about what's actually happening here. So February 3rd is when we're going to start this. That's Super Bowl Sunday. We have a 1 p.m. on that Sunday anyway. It's going to be a continuation of that, and it's going to be our spring service times. Now, we may go back to the 5 p.m. in the summer if it doesn't do what we are wanting it to accomplish, but my assumption is that we will continue with the 1 p.m. because I think it's going to be really great for a lot of different reasons, which I'll go into in just a second. All right, so let's talk about the why. It's going to be easier for us to fill serving roles for production for every service, including the last service, the 5 p.m. now going to be the 1 p.m. A lot of times it was harder to fill that service. I know a lot of you guys have had asks from me, from leaders, tried to fill that service, and it's always been difficult. Now we can just basically serve all day a lot easier because we're not having to go home at 12:45, come back at 3:30, finish around 6:30. Instead of that, we're just going to we're going to be able to go all the way through the day and wrap at 2:30, 3 at the very latest, and have a good Sunday. Because we're only going to have one run through, there are certain roles are going to be needed to be staffed the entire day, all 4 services, and certain roles will allow you to be a little more flexible and maybe serve just the first 2 services or the second 2 services, the 8, the 9:30, or the 11:15 and the 1 p.m. So I'm working with team leaders to make sure that we are figuring out which roles those are. So just get right with your team leader and let them know what you're able to do, and we'll work from there. And maybe it changes from week to week. Maybe you can serve, just 2 services one week, and then, the next time you're able to serve all day. So just let your team leader know, and we'll make sure that there's flexibility in relatively every serving area for that to happen. Okay, so let's talk about the why behind it. The second point is that basically, and this I think is the more important point over the fact that it's easier to staff serving roles, the big win, honestly, of the 1 p.m. is that we're going to have people able to move from the 11:15 to the 1 p.m. Why is that important? The 11:15 and 9:30 are our primetime services. That's when a lot of first-time guests want to show up. That's where a lot of people go to. It's how our church grows. If those services grow, then our church grows. Right now, we're at full capacity. The 9:30, the 11:15. If you guys are over on a camera or in the room running lighting or audio or anything, look around, look behind you. All the way to the back of the auditorium, it's full. So how do we free up seats? That's what we try to think about in growing the church. And when we have the 5 p.m. move to the 1 p.m., instead of having to ask 11:15 audience, the people that are attending the 11:15, instead of having to ask them to move all the way to the 5 p.m. or all the way back to the 8 a.m., we're asking them to make a minor adjustment and to move for the 1 p.m. It's a lot easier, a lot simpler, just makes sense. And so when we have it's that, like I said, it's the real win of the 1 p.m. More people becoming fully alive in Christ. It's the heartbeat of church. It's why we show up. It's why we do what we do. So I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be great. There's one concern that I had that was voiced by some team leaders as well that we've went ahead and made a solution for. That's lunch. If you're going to be serving all day, you need to be able to have some food, some sustenance, something a little more substantial than what we usually have in DHQ. So that's going to be still provided by DHQ, but it'll be a little bit more substantial. Something a little harder, like a lunch type thing, not a snack type thing. And that's going to be in the green room, just for production and worship after the 11:15 service. And that's all I'll have to say on the 1 p.m. So if you have any questions, just let me know via email or text or whatever, and let me know what your thoughts are, and I'd be glad to talk with you if you have any concerns or questions or even comments about it. Tagging along with having lunch in the green room, we're also going to have breakfast in the green room before the 8 o'clock service, and that's primarily because we're going to have the DHQ closed 15 minutes before and after every service like we did at Christmas. The why behind that means people are in place where they're supposed to be in serving. And it's honestly probably more focused on Kids Point and guest services than it is production, because a lot of times, if I'm being perfectly honest, normal flow, we'll finish the 8 o'clock service at like 9:05. Maybe you have to change a CG slide. You're done with that change by 9:15, and then DHQ's already closed, and you can't grab a drink before the 9:30 service, coffee or water or whatever. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and have the green room staffed with breakfast before the 7 o'clock service, or around 7 a.m. before the 8 a.m. service, so you guys can grab that meal real quick without having to wait till the last second or rush to get it before the last second of DHQ being open. All right, so that's kind of the housekeeping stuff. It's about 6 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this brief, maybe a couple more minutes, and just talk about something that's a little bit more impactful to what it means to be an inspirational leader. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not a leader in production. You still are a leader, because what we're doing is we're leading in worship. If you guys were at the campus-wide production team night, Toby said it best. God has uniquely gifted us, and our hands are made to worship. What we do is important. We worship through the way that we get a camera angle, maybe just getting that nice, slow, smooth zoom down on a camera 2 push. Maybe it's the way we get our lyrics in promptly and perfectly on CG. Maybe in lighting, just getting that cue just right so that it amplifies in the song. Mixing the audio, getting the podium on the stage at the perfect time so it's not distracting. All those things are worship. Capturing the moment with the photography team. All those things are worship. So I just want to let you guys know that you guys are leading the way with your worship. So let's just jump right into what it means to be an inspirational leader. So 3 signs of being an inspirational leader. This is taken from a list of 13 that Pastor Sean shared with the Fredericksburg staff. If you'd like to have the full 13, let me know. I'd be glad to give it to you. But these are 3 that I think are really helpful for us to grow in as a production team. So I just want to share them with you guys. So first, inspirational leaders are well prepared to add maximum value. Now, this is something that I think we can grow in. I would love to get more resources to you guys for cameras, for lighting, for CG, for audio, for a stage team, whatever it is. I'd love to get more resources for you guys. So if there's something that you have that you would like to see, let me know, and I'd be glad to work with Foodie and make sure that happens. The second thing inspirational leaders are, they arrive early and move slow. They don't wing it. Let's try to be in our places 5 to 10 minutes before call time. That's going to do a few things. It means you're not speeding, you're not rushing to get to church. It's going to reduce your stress. I know for me personally, if I'm trying to cut it close, I'm going to be going a little bit faster. If somebody gets in front of me, they're driving slow, I'm going to be pretty pissed off, and that's not good. I know that about me personally, and so to avoid that, I'm going to try to get to church 5 to 10 minutes early so I don't have to worry about it if someone's slow in front of me. And that's going to give you ample time to take on the day's challenges. Maybe something changed, something's different, and you're going to be ready to go. So that's the second thing, arriving early and moving slow and not winging it. The last thing that I think an inspirational leader really takes charge of is that their inspirational leaders are always making every effort to be inclusive and involving others. How can we do that? We're taking time to train others. I know, just think about it. Think about the knowledge that you have. A lot of us, that knowledge didn't come from traditional sources. It came from, on-the-job training, so to speak, and we learned it through just learning from others that have gone before us. So take the time to train the other people that are coming behind you. You want to take... So that's the first thing that can be with inclusivity. Another thing is, hey, do you know somebody who isn't serving? Invite them to Growth Track, follow up with them, and then help them join the production team. Get them involved. If somebody's on the sidelines, let's get them involved. Let's include people. We are an exclusive club, but we don't have to be that way. We can invite people to come in. I love being in production. It's awesome, but let's have more people join us alongside of us and have healthier teams. I think that's going to be a big win. So if you guys know anybody that wants to serve the production team, just encourage them to get involved. The last thing we can do to be inclusive is to share knowledge learned. Maybe you found a new camera angle for camera 2 or a new movement on camera 1. Share that with your other operators. Let them know what's going on. Same thing with lighting. Maybe you found a shortcut on the board. Share it with the other operators. CG, maybe if there's a shortcut, let them know. Maybe in photography, you found a cool spot to take a photo of worship. Let people know, what's going on, what you're doing. Kind of maybe it's a setting on your camera, whatever the thing is. Let people know what's going on, so that we can be just encouraging other people and growing in our knowledge and growing in our understanding of what's happening. All right, guys, that's all I have for this week. There's more stuff happening, but I don't want to go too much longer, and I'm sure I'll be able to share it with you guys either on Sunday. I'll be sending this out with an email, and if not this Sunday, then I'll definitely be covering it in next week's production news. So thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. All right, have a good day.